Want to see a better way to show multiple images in a LinkedIn post? Hey, this is Brenda Meller, and on today's video and podcast episode, I'm going to walk you through the process of showcasing multiple images in a document post. Now, you might be familiar with this because sometimes it's called a slider because you can click on the little arrow and you can slide through them page by page. As a marketer, what I love about this technique is it puts your images in a format that makes it easy for us to see them in a larger mode. You'll notice if you do upload multiple images into a LinkedIn post, one image is going to be larger and then it's going to have three little thumbnails off to the side with a little caret indicating there's multiple images. As opposed to if you use this approach that I'm going to show you how to do today, you can showcase multiple images and you can make a more interactive post and you can actually shine the spotlight on multiple images in a really engaging and interactive way. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, again, if you happen to be listening to this on the podcast, I'm going to put the video in show notes, which will take you to the link on YouTube where you can watch the step-by-step instructions. But I think even if you're listening on the podcast, this will make sense to you and you can always go back and look at that video later. So what prompted this for me is today I wanted to showcase a screen capture of my member directory for my website. And you can look at the webpage. I'm showing it here on screen right now. And what I've done is I've given my members the opportunity to submit 3 topics or areas of expertise or services, along with their LinkedIn headshot photo and then 1 link. So I've gone through and I actually started adding these in, and I just listed these individuals alphabetically by first name. So you can see that's why Angela's first, followed by Annette, etc. So as we go through here, you can see each of these individuals has a headshot photo, 3 topics or services, and then 1 link. And several of them, Angela, Annette, and Brian, for example, have visit on LinkedIn. Christopher Johnson, if you hover over, it actually takes us to his MailChimp page so we can join his email list. Diana has a free job seeker group, etc. And what I wanted to do is showcase these individuals in a LinkedIn post. Now, a lot of individuals, what they might do is just grab the website page and share that on LinkedIn. And let me show you what happens when you share just a single website page. So if I were to grab this web page, mellermarketing.com/directory, I'm going to grab the full URL. And let's say I go to LinkedIn. And if I wanted to do this as a post, I'm going to go back to the LinkedIn homepage first. This is where you do your posting. And where it says start a post, I'm going to do is just go in the box that says share your thoughts. And I'll just say, check out my member directory. I'm just going to type in some text to start off here and then post the link in there. Now I'll give it a couple seconds and you can see that it's preloading the social share image. And this would also be clickable to the page itself. Now, I kept this more of a generic image instead of showcasing the member photos on there. Instead of showing just that image, what I'd like to do is show multiple images because there's many people who are featured on the webpage. So one technique could be certainly just grabbing a screen capture of a section of the webpage. Maybe I grab the screen capture of the top section of the webpage along with Angela, Annette, and Brian, and then I scroll down. And then maybe I grab the next 6 people, Carrie, Christopher, Diana, Jenna, Jessica, Judy, and then scroll down and I do 6 more and then scroll down and continue to do that. And I just grab these in groups of 6 at a time. And I would probably have, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 different images to show. And that made me think about, well, what if I were to do this in a carousel or a document post instead? So the technique I'm going to show you here is I'm going to start at the top of the page and I'm just doing a screen capture right now. And I'm just going to grab, the top of the page along with the first 3 individuals and their links. Okay, I'm going to grab that as a screen capture. And then I'm just going to click on Save As, drop that into a folder that I can quickly access this. Now, I started doing this a while back where I just put it into a folder and I call it Desktop is Tidy because it keeps everything out of the way, and needed once delete monthly. That way I know I can delete these out at the end of the month. I don't need to keep these in my desktop anywhere. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the next 6 images. Grab these individuals and then I'm going to click on Save As. And I'm calling these I'm doing this in a series. I'm calling this MD1, so this is MD2, just so I know when I set this up in the graphic, which one to do first, second, third, etc. So there's MD2. I'm going to scroll down the next group of individuals. I'm going to grab on right here. I got 6. Save as. So you can see once you get a process in place, you don't have to think about it too much. So MD3, right? I'm going to scroll down and continue to do this batch by batch. And I have been mentoring for the past few months, rather, to my members. And this includes members of my Marketing with Meller program, as well as my signature program, which is called the Recipe for Social Selling. I have indicated to these individuals that I was planning on doing some promotion of this. So they know that this has been coming for a little while. And I've been giving them some time trying to get other members to sign up in here as well. Now, another marketing technique you're going to see here after the last three individuals, which again, alphabetically by last name, we have Sue Adams, Sue Griffey, and let me just save this real quick here. And then I'll show you the last name in the batch here. There's three through Sue Adams, Sue Griffey, and Susan Moore. I have This Could Be You. And this is kind of creating that bridge for the future for future members to consider to join, because this could be you if you join either Marketing with Meller or the Recipe program as well. And then I have at the bottom of the page the link for members to click here to submit to update your info. Now this goes into my website. I have to manually review it and then add these individuals. So it's not going to be automatically adding in people who are not members of my program. So don't test that, because you're not going to get in. I will vet and make sure that you are current members of the program and then provide that information to you. So now that I've got those screen captures, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Canva. Now, what I want to do with this is I think these are going to be better suited, more rectangular than a square graphic or a portrait style graphic. So I'm going to go in the left side of my Canva. I'm going to click on plus create, and I'm going to do a custom size. And just by experience, I know a good rectangular image is 1280 by 720 pixels. So got a nice rectangular side on there. This is usually the size image that I create when I'm doing a blog post or a social image, share any type of graphic in here. So it's just a nice standard rectangular size to use. Now the background color, I'm going to change this to my brand color. Now I am using Canva Pro, so I've got this set up and it's automatically adding that in there. And then what I'm going to do is upload those images that I had saved to my desktop. So I'm going to click on Uploads in the left and then Upload Files. I'm going to navigate to the section of my website where I've saved those in. Remember, I had a little folder called Needed Once, Delete Monthly. And I'm going to scroll down to that section. And you can see here they're all named accordingly, MD1 through MD5, so I can see which one goes first, second, third, etc. And then I upload those into Canva. It's going to take a second for those to come inside here. And then I'm going to add these images one by one. So I'm going to start with the first image inside here. And what I'd like to do is kind of set up the template with the first one, and then I'll add in the other ones after that. I'm going to click on T for text, and that will allow me to add a text box in here. I'm just going to say Meet the Members Monday. Now, the good thing is you can just click on the plus T to put a text box in, and then you can get it into position in here. What I'm trying to do is maximize the viewable area for these, and also a little bit of description in here. Now, black text against a dark background doesn't work. So I'm going to change my black text to my yellow brand color font in here. And then I also want to make it a bolder font. So I'm going to click on the font type. And then if you go under text styles, it's going to give you the options for bold in here. Okay. So what I'm doing in here is I'm just clicking on Meet the Members Monday. And, I've got the first image in here. And then second image, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll through these images one by one. And, a little technique here, you can just, kind of resize them to fit the space. Make sure they're centered inside the frame here. And then if you want, you can delete out the image behind it. And you certainly don't need to. The average person's not going to notice that. But that is a technique that you could do. Okay. So I'm just going to frame that up. Now, just for giggles, I'm going to test this out. Now, what if I were to take just 3 people instead of 6 people? Okay. What would that allow me to do? So this is what I do as a marketer. I'm often starting with, I know what I'd like to do, showcase 6 members at once. But what if I were to do 3 at a time? Look at the difference there. I want to pay attention. If you're watching this on video right now, pay attention to the difference with this visual and just think about, you can more easily read their names for 1. You can read the links, the text that's listed underneath their names for 2. So I think I've just made a modification I'm going to incorporate into all of my pages as well. So now I've got all of my graphics in place. I realized in the process I had 1 new member join and 1 that is no longer a member. So I had to make a couple of quick changes. I did add in a click image in here as well. And I found that this really helps because some people aren't aware that a document graphic contains multiple pages to it. So if you indicate click, that'll take them to the next page on here as well. So I've got everything all set up, and I want to show you at the very end, I did add in thanks for reading, and then I added in this pro tip, save this post for future reference. So this is a really great technique as well because it does help to increase your engagement, especially if it's something that you want people to remember and reference again for later. Tell them what to do, encourage them to save it for future reference. And I'm even giving them instructions on how to do so. So once I'm ready to export, which I am, I'm going to go ahead and click on share. And then we're going to choose the download option inside of Canva. And the file size by default will be PNG, but I'm going to change this to a PDF standard, which will then create a document post and it'll allow people to click through. You'll see it in just a minute here. I'm going to leave it as PDF standard, select all pages as automatically because there's no pages I'm hiding from here. And then it's going to export that. We're going to give it just a minute to export. And it should go into my regular folder. If not, I can certainly put it into a folder by choosing. I'm going to put it in the needed ones, delete monthly, because I'm going to update this again. Then I'm going to go back to LinkedIn. Now you recall from earlier, I did start the post with a check out my member directory, and I put the website link in here with a social share image. It's really not doing a lot to help to get some engagement. So let's delete this out of here. I'm going to actually delete the entire web page in here as well, so it doesn't keep reloading it in here. And then I'm going to click on the plus in the bottom of the post. And if you hover over, it says more. Okay. And then it's going to give you a bunch of different icons. You want to choose the one that looks like a Post-it note with a corner peeled up. And if you hover over, it says add a document. At this point, it'll say choose file, and you're going to navigate to the folder where you've saved that out from Canva. And remember, I'm looking for that PDF in here. And then it has a document title. This is optional, but I would highly recommend adding in a title to that. I'm going to type in put in quotation marks, Meet the Members Monday by Brenda Meller, and I'm going to do the date. Okay, so let's click on next in here. Okay, so that's the document title. I'm going to click on done. It's not actually uploading it yet. We still have it in a preview mode, so we can just click through here. And now I'm just going to pause this and I'm going to type up the text that goes along with it, and then I'll read it to you before I publish. All right, so I've got my post all prepped up in here. And what I'm going to share with you is how I built this. So I'm saying today and periodically on a Monday, I might do this monthly, I don't know. I'm going to introduce you to a few members of my program, the Recipe for Social Selling and Marketing with Meller. Then I go on and explain why I'm showcasing these individuals. I'm also going to give some call to action. So do you know anyone featured here? Comment below and tell me how you know them. That's going to encourage people who are not in this list to say, oh, I know Sue Griffey. I attended her session, or I've worked with Michelle Gilbert in the past, or a shout out to Julie Kleinhans. So that will help people in their network to engage with the post. And I'm also saying, are you featured in the photos? Comment below and tell us what you're working on right now, perhaps a product, a service, or an upcoming event. My goal is to help to leverage my 70,000 follower LinkedIn network to help my clients and members in 2026. And let's not be shy about it. People are going to engage with this post. They're going to look at the comments. So let's tell them what you're working on. You never know who that's going to reach. And then I also have started adding in, this was created by me, not AI. I don't use AI for content creation. Now, if you need to, feel free. But for me, as a corporate marketer, as somebody who's been doing LinkedIn coaching for a long time, I know what works in posts. Using this conversational approach, including engaging ways of saying things to people and the why and the what behind it, I think works really well. And then I've also tagged in each of these individuals in rows of 3, which is how their names are appearing in here. In addition to tagging them, I'm also going to send them a direct message, and I'm going to email them, inviting them to comment on the post, explaining that helps them and me, as well as all the other members, to get additional visibility with this as well. All right, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and click on post and show you what happens next when I publish. I will put the link to the post in the YouTube comments as well as in the podcast in case you want to check this out. But now you can see, instead of just having one image with thumbnails of 3 on the side, I can see that you can click, and the little yellow click is going to help people to know this. You can click on that and you can scroll through page by page. Now, if you do click on the little broken square at the bottom of the graphic, it's going to pull it up into large screen mode. I do see the resolution is just a little bit fuzzy, but it's still good enough. We can see the names, we can see the faces, we can make out the words that are in there. This is Brenda Meller with today's LinkedIn tip, which is showcasing visuals in a document post instead of just uploading them individually, which is going to help you with your engagement and also help to make larger visuals that people can click through, which is going to help with that post engagement as well. Hey, if you found this video helpful, I'd love it if you could drop a comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening on the podcast, share this episode with a friend. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.